Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-1. We have finished our early Earth observational satellites, and now we're just kind of squeezing it for all the money that we can get from it. I'm going to go ahead and add an alarm for this, 29 April of 61, to make sure we don't forget to, what's the word? We don't forget to but finish the contract. Finish program. Still feel like it's weird we can't actually type in the date like that. We have to just type in some large number of days, and this box doesn't even have enough, like I can type in years, but even, what? I can't type in years. Wait, what? What is going on here? Huh. I do not understand. And I already forgot what date we needed. We needed the date of mid-April of 61. Okay. So, is there a way for me to... I don't think so. I just have to mess with these numbers? So that just keeps adding more. Oh dear. So how am I supposed to... I can't type in the year anywhere. I mean, can I type in the year here, 1961? That didn't work. It's literally just adding 9 years at a time to the number of days. This is such a weird... There's gotta be a different way to do this, right? Is it because we're not in UT? Do I need normal time? Maybe I need normal time instead of KSP time. Calendar, Earth epoch, Earth calendar. I just feel like I'm missing something. How do other people do this? Like, obviously, if you know the details of the raw seconds or whatever, that's easy enough. But how do you plug in an actual date easily to Kerbal Alarm Clock? I feel like I'm missing. So, like, am I just bad? Because if we want April, then I have to add a year by typing in 1 here, but then it doesn't even show me the 1. It just immediately adds days. And then I can't even see how many days this is if I wanted to, like, move it back 20 days. Like, this is like 6 digits worth of days, and I can't even edit the field and see what I'm doing. Something feels very wrong about this. So maybe instead I should just focus on time to alarm and just try to dial it in correctly. As we said, April, so negative 30 days. 8th of April, 61, negative 20 days. Yeah, let's go with that. But yeah, I just feel like I'm doing something wrong there. If there's not an easier way to do that, I don't totally understand why there isn't. Because it feels like what I was just trying to do. I guess Kerbal Alarm Clock is not really designed for adding specific dates into the game. It's mostly designed for, like, knowing, oh, I'm going to need to transfer 1 year from now. Whereas RP-1 has added things where you actually care about specific dates, and you don't have that as often in normal KSP, so maybe that's why KAC doesn't really support that style. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at our next contract, which... Wait, what? Oh, sorry, this is an optional one. Okay, I was freaking out. I'm like, what the heck? We already did this. Isn't this just the same The exact same thing? Am I missing something? It's literally just the exact same mission. I would have thought they would require a heavier probe or something. I could literally just launch the same mission again. Would it pay for itself? Maybe. I would definitely get a lot of confidence from it, but I don't know if I need that confidence. How much did my Cobalt 1 cost me? Cobalt 1 is a price tag of 3708 plus 88. It's what, 11, 12 grand-ish? It would also get me more data units on the engines, but I don't think we're gonna do that right now. I have the orbital what's it called? Orbital Perturbation is the thing that I really want to do, this one. Because even though this is only 50, you know, that'll help pay for the launch. But then on top of that, we need the science from this. So I want to set this up. Infrared radiometry, satellite follow-up. I don't think we need. I do need improved film as well, so it could be worth looking into this one. And then the capstone for this is a lunar orbiter, which I've already started designing. So I'm gonna grab that one as well, just so we can look at that. Commercial, satellite, probably. I mean, what did we say? 30,000, cut it in half. That's how much money we get after 10 years. And again, that only applies if your reputation's not at max. Once we have max reputation, then that stops applying. But, you know, we'll get there eventually. Anyway, which one do we want to do first? Let me walk you through what we've designed so far for the lunar orbiter. It's the Cobalt 3. And, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay, that scared me. I was like, that is not the right craft. I don't know what was going on there, but this is the Cobalt 3, so let's walk through its differences. I started out with the Cobalt 1 design, and we had to change up the upper stage because the problem with the Cobalt 1 is it wasn't designed to have any delta V for circularizing around the moon, and that takes about 800 delta V. So, and the other problem is we were using mostly nitrous oxide as our final stage, which only had a couple hundred delta V, but that's a really low ISP. I mean, these engines only give us 144 ISP, which is terrible. So I was like, why don't I use the lightest, efficient booster we can, which is the Altair. So what we did is we threw an Altair on a probe, a deep space probe, by the way, not a near Earth, because it needs to have control to orient itself properly. And we then need solar panels that are big enough to handle that. So we got these chunk. Oh, wait a second. Oh, I forgot. We don't need chunk or solar panels because you can. Oh man, there's all kinds of ways I screwed this up. You can hibernate deep space probes, and then they only need 3.78 watts instead of 75 watts, and then you can just dehibernate it when you need to control it. Oh. Well, I can probably get this whole thing done for cheaper then. Anyway, let me walk you through the rest of it before we go down that rabbit hole. So I made the probe core a hollow cylinder, and we stuffed an Altair up in there like a pigs in a blanket. And so we've got a really cool, I really like the, like, it's not way taller, you know, because of the Altair. It's kind of just about the height of the Altair, and everything else is built around that. So this is going to be what actually circularizes around the moon. You can see it has 815 delta V, which should be pretty close to what we need. It doesn't have to be a perfectly circular orbit, as you can see in the contract here. It just has to be anywhere between 5 mil and 20K. So pretty much any orbit is good. And we also need to put some experiments in here, I just realized. Something with low mass and doesn't use a ton of charge. So radiation detector's good. Chernikov might be good. Let's leave that in the mix for now. Magnetometer is too heavy. 15 kilograms is too heavy. Mass spectrometer. Isn't that the one I already took? And that's 2 kilograms. That's also 2 kilograms. That's 5 kilograms. Infrared radiometer. That one might be okay. I can probably handle 1 kilogram. Orbital perturbation. I don't have confidence we're going to get into the correct orbit. Okay. So we'll go with the infrared radiometer. And then we'll stop there. Okay, and then we need just a smidgen more fuel in this, maybe 52. Yeah, that'll work. And then our communitron is the same one we used for the moon orbiter, so that or the impactor. So that should be okay. We need to fix the name of this. What are we gonna call this one? This is gonna be the moon. Could be the Hello Moon. Hello Moon. Perfect. We need to make that centered though, that's gonna bother me. Alright, fine adjust. Do that. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our Hello Moon orbiter, and then this thing, I really wanted, I thought about using SRBs, but the problem is an Antares, which we used before, is not enough delta V. So I would have had to have used a mixture of Antares plus Altair for an injection burn. And it could still be worth looking into that. We've got 3143. Why don't we test out if that actually works? So let's grab this and see if we can get 3143. And if it weighs less, then maybe it's still worth doing. But you can see this just isn't quite enough thrust. So we would actually need, part of the other issue is this makes it a lot taller. You know, we would need to do something like this to get 3143. And now we come to the difficult answer of which one do we remove fuel from to be more fuel efficient. 255, 256. They have the same ISP. I actually don't know the answer to that question. Let's math it out. Let's freaking math it out. So, just so that we know what we actually need the total to be, because I don't want to have to do the subtraction every time. We'll take, what was the other one? So the original is 3143. So now we need 3143 plus 823. So 3966. Wow, it's almost a full one of both. 3966. So is it more efficient to remove from here? 100. 95, 96, 97. Perfect. Or is it more efficient to have this full and then to remove from this one? 500, 510, 512, 512.5, 512.8. There we go. All right, which one of these is lighter? Total weight 1527, total weight 1527. That's funny. They're exactly the same weight. That feels wrong somehow. I guess in both cases we didn't actually remove that much. I'm curious to go a little lower. Like, let's go down to 3750 or something. Like a more extreme, or even this, 3780. 34.5. We gotta do some science here. 34? 33? 33.8? There we go. Okay, so this one has a full Antares and a very light Altair for 3780 delta V. And then this one also needs to get to 3780, so 400. Oop, 480. 450. Very close. 451. 451.5. 451.5. Close enough. All right, 1419 kilograms and 1417. So what I think we've learned here is that if two stages have the same ISP, removing weight from either of them will have the same effect. I think is what that means. Definitely correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. It's very possible I'm wrong. But these have a different dry mass ratio from each other. So it's, you know, that doesn't seem to matter. I would have thought that one of them having a different dry mass ratio would mean it'd be more efficient to remove fuel from one of them, even if the ISPs are the same. But it seems like with the same ISP and a different dry mass ratio, to get the same total delta V, it was equally effective to remove fuel from either of them. Anyway, what was the number I needed again? I actually screwed up the real comparison we were trying to do, which was 3966. Okay. 90, what was it? 98? Yeah, 97.5. It's 97. Close enough. Okay. So 3966. This is a total weight of 1527 kilograms. And this is a total weight of 1890. Oh! 3967. 3966. Interesting. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I remember why I did this. I did this for a reason. It is going to require me to get another 300 kilograms into low Earth orbit. 400 kilograms, actually. That's almost 1900. Wow. This is way more efficient. It's because the ISP of this... No, it's higher. It's because it needs a high pressure tank. That's what it is. The dry mass here. Because if you add the dry mass of the tank and the engine, you get a total of 200 and, you know, whatever that is, 215 kilograms, which is, compared to the wet mass, far more than 10%. And these are like, this is less than 10% dry mass. That's about exactly 10%. So that's why this is heavier for the same amount of delta V. But the reason I'm doing it is because of residuals. I'm not going to have the ability to carefully adjust my apoapsis to get a good moon encounter. So that's why I want to use a liquid engine. is that way we can make sure that we cut the throttle at exactly the correct amount of delta V so that we have the moon encounter that we want. So that's the idea there. And then these are for ullage. I'm hoping they're enough. I may have to test that. And in fact, I do need to test that. I haven't tested that yet. But anyway, that's the idea, is that we can use the orientation on this stage to face the correct direction, because this has RCS. So we'll hold on to the fat avionics and the fat RCS. This is configured for 2 tons controllable mass, which means, I need to start all the experiments. That means we can control all of this. So as soon as we decouple this, fire the ullage motors, well, we'll point in the correct direction, decouple that, fire the ullage motors, and then we have 102 seconds of a burn. So I may need to start that burn a little early. So we're gonna need maneuver nodes for this, which means we probably can't do it yet, because we're gonna need a lot of money for that. That's a good thing for me to note, because I'm gonna need a maneuver node to plan out exactly how much delta V, and the actual engine. What's the variance on this AJ10 guy? And I do think it's just the regular AJ10. Yeah, I don't have a good reason to upgrade yet. I'm below the rated burn time. I guess that one's more it's more reliable. We go from reliability 91.8 to 95.6. But it's slightly less efficient. I mean, I lose 40 delta V for switching, which is not great. Ooh, that's an interesting trade-off. Because I'm already really tight on the delta V budget here. What does it do to the entire delta V of the craft if I switch? Yeah, I do lose about 40. Technically these go up a tiny bit because it's a lighter, but then I would need to add more fuel to that. I don't know, I don't want to do that. If we fail, we fail. We've got a solid 15% chance of failure though. Oh my gosh. The AJ10, man, not the most reliable with its first configuration. You know what? No, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch, which means this needs to be a little bit longer. 31, 34, 3150. Okay. So anyway, that's that stage. You guys, I think, understand that stage just fine. Next is our good old friend, the RD-0105. The same configuration as before for the Cobalt 1. Nothing fancy there. I did make this longer. We're using the full 440 seconds because we need it to eke out as much delta V as possible. And then this is where things get a little different. So prior to this, I was using a single stage of the LR-43, but trying to carry this much weight into low Earth orbit was just not possible with an LR-43. I tried an LR-43 and I even tried an LR-43 with boosters and it just wasn't looking good. So I started looking at our other engine options, and we've got a new one coming in soon, the LR-91, which is a great second stage engine, 310 ISP with a solid TWR of 62. And it's, you know, about the right weight for a second stage. So I was like, what if we used that? It's got a burn time of 160. What if we use that as a second stage? Because right now I don't have a lot of other great second stage options. Most things, I guess I could use like a Viking 2 as a second stage. That's a ground support clamps kind of But it has a non-ground support clamps version. I guess would that be better? It's also 310. It's a lot heavier, so I don't think we need a heavier engine right now. But that's an option for heavier craft in the future. But yeah, right now I just don't have a lot of options. These all require ground support clamps. What was the 105? Is this also ground support clamps for everybody? Yeah. So, and these are all just really light. Once we start getting into these, they just don't have enough thrust. Because yeah, this is the best of the lighter engines, and then I need a slightly heavier engine, right? That provides more in the like 200 to 500 thrust range in terms of kilonewtons. And so, I guess I could have used this guy, but the ISP is not great on this. 251. So yeah, anyway, we're using this, which has a thrust of 360 and an ISP of 310. That's really nice. And yeah, there you go. That's all there is to it. We've just got ourselves the LR91 here. Nothing fancy. I will note that we lose a little bit of fuel to boil off because we have liquid oxygen in both of these stages. And I did a single test that actually did interfere with things, so we'll have to overestimate our delta V a little bit. Anyway, then we've got another new main engine coming in. I thought about using the RD-0107s or whatever, but I was like, we've got this coming in with the next research, so why don't I just use the LR87? The LR87 is a big chonker, and I mean, if you compare... Wait, which one of these is more thrust? This one is more thrust. So if we were to compare these two, we've got a thrust of 1336 at sea level versus only 818, which is massive. It's like closing in on double. The ISP is slightly worse. Cost is higher, but the TWR is better, right? We've got a 81.2 TWR, and this one's only 70. And the ISP is 255 versus 249. They're basically the same thing. Though the ISP of this one... Oh, hold on. Sorry. Burn time. Burn time is only 17 seconds longer. Is it crazy to use an RD-01 or an RD-107 here? It might not actually be crazy. The TWR would be too, or my SLT I should say, is going to be too low. I actually need the massive thrust of the LR87. Because if you look, we're only at a 1.64. If I were to switch over, we wouldn't have enough thrust, I don't think. Yeah, we just don't have enough thrust. Also, why is the delta V 2548? Is that lower? Me 327 2548. No, it's higher. Okay. Yeah, we'd end up getting a bit more performance out of the RD-107, but we actually need the higher thrust value. So I think the LR-87 is the right choice here. We don't have the best chance of success reliability-wise. It's really bad, actually. And I need to give it a shroud. I still haven't done that. But we don't get any upgrades to it for a while, so we just have to deal. If it fails, it'll make the next one more likely to succeed. I also don't know if I made the fuel tank quite wide enough. I didn't want to go too big. But yeah, there it is, the Cobalt 3. We've got a few things to test, and we need maneuver nodes. So maybe for now we work on the gravimetric satellite. But let me at least show you what you guys are dying to know what this simulates like. So we'll at least do a simulation, but until we have maneuver nodes, I don't really think we can plan the translunar injection. I guess I could fly by the seat of my pants and just go to slow-mo and cut the throttle when we get to the correct thing. I guess that's an option. Early shutoff is 4. Last stage is 4. And if we were going to the moon, we'd want our longitude of ascending node to be 2. So then we can hit the launch to land button, which I did not know existed. And I was sitting there in the last episode, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago, like, how the heck are you supposed to launch into the same one other than just warping and checking and warping and checking? Well, there's a button for it. That's how. I felt really stupid. Oh, one thing I do want to note is we need a lead time of like 2.3 seconds for the LR91. 2.33. Okay. That's not what I expected to happen. LOL. That was just a simulation, but why did that simulation fail so spectacularly? We might have screwed up our staging clicking on all the things that we clicked on. No, the staging's correct. Actually. I wonder what happened there. I'm actually not confident in my understanding of why that failed. It seems like it kept staging things rather than just letting this stage burn. But I don't know why. Alright, let's see if it figures itself out better this time. Oh, it doesn't have any fuel. I think I left in the fuel for the RD-107. Is that what happened here? I think that's exactly what happened. Alright, don't judge me too hard. Don't judge me too hard. Let's try again. This time, hope it goes a little better. Alright, 4 for autopilot, launch to land. This time, it'll work. So we say. And it really... I know it wants to be conservative with the time warp. I'm an impatient man, apparently. It feels like it takes so long. I could reduce the countdown, I guess, to like 1 second. There we go. That's more what we expected. So yeah, this is the Cobalt 3, and it's got no boosters. It just kind of keeps going up. I did need these fins because that stage was wanting to turn over. But I might actually be able to take them off because I discovered I was not hot staging early enough for the RP-91. No, what the heck is this engine called? LR-91. I was not hot staging, so it didn't have any gimbal. So I might be able to take these fins off, actually. Oh. Well, the fairings are staged incorrectly, but that's not a huge deal. Drag is fairly low. And we also need to reduce the gimbal on this thing. It's very wiggly because it just has an insane gimbal potential. So better to keep that reduced. And then that one burns for a very long time. The next stage burns for even longer. Oh, I should change this to 1.3. I would love if MechJeb could support different hot staging times. rather than just one setting. It would be really cool if you could tell it, like, change hot staging to this, change drop solids early to the, you know, like if each of these settings could have a little button that says like per stage rather than just one rule. I understand that would be a total nightmare to change the functionality of MechJeb to do that, but it would be nice. I'm just a big fan of not having to remember those steps manually. So the more I can automate, the better. Alright, now this stage burns for a very long time, but according to itself... Oh. I screwed up. The last stage is supposed to be 6. There we go. I screwed that up. According to it, we will have -10 delta V. Oh, but it's going into single digits. Maybe, just maybe we'll get into orbit. It's going to be really close. It's going to be really close. We're either going to get into orbit or we will be within a few kilometers of orbit here. So that means I might need to increase the bottom stage a little bit. Hey! Literally used all of our fuel. Like, not even close. Wow. So that is how that works. And now we have RCS. And so what we would do is we would go to map view here. We would target our friend the moon. We have a 0.2 degree ascending and descending node, which means we're probably mostly fine without having to worry about it. I can trust the MechJeb rendezvous because we are in the same orbit. So this is where I would need to make a maneuver node. But what I'm gonna do is just wait until my time to transfer is... We have a burn of 1 minute, 1 minute 8 seconds. So we're just gonna wait until that's about 4 minutes out and we'll get everything prepped. Okay, so now we need to point prograde. It's gonna take a minute. And I'm really hoping that we get ullage from these little guys. I'm not sure if I will or not. I guess I can get ullage from these if that doesn't work. I kind of forgot that this stage had RCS. I mean, I didn't when I was thinking about orienting it for the moon burn, but I did forget when I was thinking about ullage for the AJ-10. So, you know, it's easy to forget things when you're planning rocket science. So then... I'd like to test, though, if these are enough, because it's more of a curiosity thing. So I'm going to quick save. Test. And we'll see if that works. So now we should see the propellant destabilize here in a moment. No? Why is the propellant not destabilizing? This is weird. I thought over time in 0G, propellant would destabilize. But it hasn't. Doesn't that seem weird to you guys? Am I missing something? Is it because this is a high pressure tank? But high pressure tanks aren't always stable. I don't think. Maybe when they're full, they're always stable. I don't actually know. I thought that was going to destabilize being in 0G after a little bit. I guess not. All right, let's do it. Yeah, I don't actually know if that would be enough to settle it if it was unstable. What was that? That was weird. Okay, we need to keep that locked on prograde. And then we warp that, and we should be able to watch... our apoapsis rising. I'm gonna go into slow-mo now. And we'll focus our view on the moon here. It's still going really fast, isn't it? Okay. That was doable. 13 million. What was our contract? Is it 20 million? No, it's 5 million. Okay, so I need my RCS. I need these guys. But I should be able to decouple now because I can't reignite. So decouple. Then I activate these RCS. And we should be able to hopefully get enough Delta V out of this. Bring that down to 5 million. This is a good simulation because it's kind of testing like exactly what would happen if this type of screw up happened. All right, I'm gonna fast forward. Uh-oh. Oh, I wasn't staying prograde. Well, that screwed everything up. What is up with this? It's not even a hyperwarp thing. I'm not hyperwarping right now. And it's still doing this crazy thing. I don't know what's up with that. Let's try hybrid controller. Nope, that's doing it too. I don't know what to change. Velocity deadband. Like, I don't know what to change to help that. That doesn't seem to be changing anything. It just can't seem to chill. Which is unfortunate. But we are going to get below 5 millimeters here. Using just a little bit of our nitrous oxide. Okay. Then we are going to praise the sun. Get rid of some of these windows here. It's so annoying. And it's wasting a ton of fuel too. Do I lower the thrust? No, it's still doing it. If anybody knows how to fix that, let me know. I'm wondering what could be causing it even. I'm not really sure. It just is certainly not doing it right. But I don't know what to change here. Maximum stopping time. Do I change to... Hybrid controller didn't seem to fix it either. Huh. Roll control range. What does that mean? 0.1. 10. I don't know what any of these things mean. The weird part is it's worked before. I haven't had too many issues. Did that fix it? No. 2.24. I'm just changing random values. There's just nothing I can seem to do. One of these numbers needs to be changed, but I don't know what it is. Maximum stopping time. Maybe I can have that be larger. No. Whoa. Do I try 0.1 there? 0.01? Hey, sunlight. We've been playing with attitude adjustment for far too long. I just hate that I can't kill rotation. Can we just use SAS? Regular old. KSP. It looks like it's still rotating. Because that's, you know, it's a huge problem, right? Like, we need to actually be able to kill rotation. Haven't had an issue with this before. I'm not actually sure what to do. So, I'm going to play with this for a minute. I'll come back. Okay, I'm back, and I have good news. The news is that I'm an idiot. I had forgotten to enable, I don't know what I did exactly, but I only had 2 of the 4 RCS thrusters enabled. I think, I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened, because didn't I enable them from right-clicking over here? And did that actually only... Yeah, okay, so it was my wrong assumption that right-clicking on this would follow the symmetry rules, but it doesn't. If I wanted to enable them, I should have gone down to part commander, and I should have done it this way, because this will actually enable a pair at a time. So that's what happened. It now is working properly. Anyway, we now can fast forward and see if we actually can circularize around the moon with this thing. Wait, what's happening? Oh, okay, this was moving and I got worried we were rotating, but we're good. All right, where's the moon? That's not the moon, that's the moon. Okay, SOI change, lags the game for a moment, there we go. And now, we should be able to get a moon orbit. So we're just gonna get to time to periapsis, I don't know, like a couple minutes maybe? Right about now. And then we can face orbital peri or retrograde. We've still got control, which is wonderful. Science is flowing in. Where's that big ol' orb? But actually, where's the moon? It must be... Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, we're basically completely on the dark side of the moon right now. Okay, so we're getting towards retrograde here. I'll speed things up a bit. Kill rotation for me. Because it actually works, right? Still can't believe how bad that was. Alright. Fast forward a bit. And this is it. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Whoa. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, so it turns out 5 million is a little too high, and it slows you down too much from 5 million. That's good to know. I didn't really do the math on that. Let's go back to prograde and see if we can speed ourselves up a few meters a second here. Because that orbit is not actually correct. We need to be above 20 kilometers. That should be possible. How much fuel are we still dealing with? Oh yeah, we got plenty. 7 kiloliters, in fact. What's our delta V here? We have 80 delta V according to this. And the orbit is almost there. 17, 18, 19, and 20. Why did it stop? Why did it stop right then? We out of power? No. Oh, it's because I moused over here? I don't know. Something with smartass. I was like, that was weird timing though. Alright. And then... Now, I never did it, but we could have shut down avionics. Oh, was it automatically doing that when I was time warping? I think it was. That's why this was popping up. That was confusing me. Oh, it automatically shuts it down during time warp? That is so cool. So you don't have to shut it down and then time warp and then turn it back on. You can just time warp. That's really neat. They've thought of a lot of really helpful features in RP-1. Okay, I do want to face the sun though, so let's get that going. This is all just a simulation, remember. This is just a dream. This is just a dream. Okay. Perfect. And we end up with all sorts of juicy science from this mission. 150, 151, 152. Sweet. Okay, well that's proof of pretty much everything we needed. Except there is one still, one issue still, which is the question of, and it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna save a test vessel here. The question of, can we settle the RCS, or can we, what's the word I'm looking for? Can we settle the ullage on this? So we'll empty that out, and I just am going to make these four-way. So then what we can do is activate them and then use them to destabilize the ullage and see if those little kick motors actually work. So we'll just start in orbit here. Because I want to see how much those kick motors actually do for ullage stabilization. Also, how has this recording already been an hour? I feel like we've done nothing. I freaking love RP-1. This game just eats time for breakfast. Okay, so it's starting out destabilized, actually. 50%. No, that's the wrong engine. This one. Okay, so there's our AJ-10. I will use Part Commander to grab the modular RCS and enable them. And then I can hit the Y. No, turn on RCS. The Y key? H and Y are not doing anything. Nothing's doing it. Oh, I don't have control because we don't have probe control. I can just hit the clear input blocks. There we go. So we can see that H should stabilize our fuel, and then a few seconds later, yeah. See, it starts reducing. But something weird happened and it just stayed at 100. I think it happened again. Oh, there it's going. Maybe it's all the turning of prograde. Because of the way that it's turning, that's giving me stabilization power. And then it just happened to be enough to last for like 3 minutes. know. Let's see what happens if we just chill for a minute here. Maybe the longer you push, the longer it stays stable. No, it's destabilizing right there. Weird. I don't know what happened last time for it to stay stabilized for so long. And if we go backwards, it should destabilize even faster. Yeah, there we go. Very unstable. So let's start with it being pretty much as unstable as it gets. And then I'm gonna stage 7. Stage 6 has been staged, so stage 5. Okay, yeah, very stable. Perfect. So that means even if the RCS didn't work, we could use that. All right, that's all we needed to know. Go from 0% to 100% with just a couple delta V. And I mean, that makes sense. 2 meters a second is pretty fast. We're working with thousands of meters per second, so it seems like a tiny amount. But if you think about real life, if you were to fill a barrel with a liquid that was sloshing around, and then you were to all of a sudden push that barrel so fast that it was going, let's see, what's a meter per second? That's like, sorry, I need freedom units for my brain to comprehend how fast that is. A meter per second is like 6, 7-ish feet per second. And a foot per second is more or less than a mile per hour. A mile per hour is 5,280 feet per 3,600. A mile per hour is 1.5 feet per second. So 7 feet per second is like 5 miles an hour. So if you just push it all of a sudden to where it's going 5 miles an hour, like that is gonna slosh everything to the, to the bottom of the barrel. It makes sense. Huh, okay. And you have to ignore gravity, of course, in that idea. Like if it was just all floating around randomly in a tank and then you start pushing it, it would all collect towards the back. And that's exactly what's happening. So, that being said, this video has to have some sort of mission in it. I mean, it doesn't have to, but I like to finish at least one mission per video when we can. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull up a grasshopper, which hilariously, God, I still just can't believe this was a HP high pressure for the LR-43. It's just so painful. But I think we're gonna use a grasshopper to finish our gravimetric satellite, because isn't this pretty much the same thing? Maybe not. Hold on. Let me plug this into the calculator real quick. So the apoapsis of, let's just call it 11 or 1.1 million, 1100. Periapsis of 145 has 253 delta V to circularize. Okay, so that just needs to be a little bit more. And we need orbital perturbation science. I think we can modify this. We'll make this the Grasshopper 5. We'll call it Grasshopper B, because it's a slightly different thing. But it's still the 5th of the Grasshopper series, but it's kind of like we're updating this one. We are using nitrous oxide. The configure experiments needs, oh my God. No, we wanted a magnetometer in that one. I was like, were we taking an extra 15 kilograms with all of our missions as well? Orbital perturbation here. So that's nice and light, and that gives us all the delta V we need. 283 is actually too much. Like I said, we only need 253.8 to circularize. So 253.8. So I make this a little smaller. 253. Right there should do it. 54 seems great. Okay, so that is good. The panels. Raise the tech level up higher. We need an inclination of above 50. That's not going to be very good for solar panel, is it? Because the sun... We should put the panels on the butt and launch at sunset. Butt panels, sunset is actually going to be perfect. Because the sun is below the west, you know, and so if we're launching at sunset, then this will give us actually almost close to like direct sunlight. And we'll just shift that down. I don't mind it being a little janky looking. Because we already tried the idea where we have a really thin hollow inner stage, but the problem with that is it doesn't properly... like it breaks the solar panel if that thing so much as touches it, which I think is a little silly, but that's how it works. So we'll ignore that problem with our own physics breaking ideas. Okay, anyway, so that needs to get into 1100 by 145 orbit, which requires a speed of 8,083 meters a second, which is normal orbital velocity plus, what, 700 or so? No, only plus like 100. So we have way more delta V than we need. This is like hardcore overkill. In fact, I think I can do it like this alone. I'm pretty sure this thing can do it without any of that craziness. We do need to spin stabilize this though. Oh, we have them right there. Spin motors. Perfect. Okay, so those spin motors, then this. And I'm pretty sure... Is that it? Is this all we need? Oh, is that enough power, by the way? 18.7. I have not checked the numbers on 1 megajoule for 2 watts. That's 500,000 seconds. Yeah, that's more than enough. And then 2 watts is not even close to half of my solar panel. So we're good to go on that. Oh, this could even be an Altair. I could use an Altair instead of a GCRC. Whatever, it's fine. This is less consistent though, in terms of residuals. So do I care? I don't think I care. I really don't want to launch this twice though. So I'm gonna switch out for the Altair. The reason isn't even that the Altair gives me more delta V, though it certainly does. The reason is just because it's literally going to give me more, a more correct orbit every single time. And this has way too much delta V now, because we only need like 9,600. So this is just way overbuilt. This is way overbuilt. I mean, I could make this stubbier. But then we incur a tooling cost. I mean, at some point it's just cheaper to send... I mean, we're spending the entire cost of the... Well, I guess the whole launch is like 10 grand. So I think it's just cheaper to launch what we have. Weirdly. Than to remake the whole thing. What are these two numbers added together? 4884 plus 3668. What is that? That's 7. That's 1.4. That's 8400 delta V. Just without even this entire bottom stage. Oh my goodness. There's a part of me that's like, what if I just slapped an algol underneath this thing and called it a day? You know what I mean? Like, crazy, but also, is it? Is it so crazy? Because this would work. This would work. Oh man, there's a part of me that wants to do it. Literally, look at this. Look at this. Look at our delta V. That's enough right there. Look at how cheap this would be. And that's not even fully tooled. It's too light. We'd have to launch it at a... It's actually too heavy. We don't have an LC for it. It's really funny. I'm not gonna. We'll stick with our full grasshopper plan, but it's just kind of funny to me that that's actually how things are working right now. Okay, let me make sure the staging's right. Everything looks good. This thing is over-engineered to the 9s, but I think we're good for it, so. I just need to make sure the probe is actually going to do the right thing. Electric charge for 60 days, that shouldn't be a problem. Inclination above 50. Oh, I didn't notice the eccentricity needs to be that tiny. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure we get the exactly right number for this. It's a good thing we're using the Altair. The Altair will help with this. So, at exactly 1.1 million, the circularized is 253.8 delta V, and that is 254. So, that should work. We're within 0.2 delta V. So let's try it? Question mark? Staging? Check yo staging. Yeah, see, it's wrong. Staging of that happens... Actually, no, that's fine. Okay. Save this. Light satellite program. Simulate. Launch. So, like I said, we need to launch around sunset so that the sun is to the southwest. And then when we launch to an inclination of 50, it'll be basically right up the solar panels, as it were. So, east is that way. So this is morning. So we shall time warp to more of a sunset time. Wait, what? Have I lost my marbles? Is this... Oh, I've really lost it, folks. The sun in the northern hemisphere I guess it starts in the northwest, but then it gets to the south of you during midday at noon. Yeah, sorry. I guess during the summer the sun actually sets to the northwest, not the southwest. So I guess I'm a little wrong about that. So then does that mean I should actually launch at sunrise and have the panels on the front? If it's, I guess that's the thing, is it depends on if you're launching in the winter or the summer. So that's something I didn't really consider. Anyway, let's just go for it. So ascent settings, PVG settings. So we need you to think about 2 is unguided and the last stage, and then the shut off stage is 4, because you can't shut off stage 2. And then we want 145 by 145, inclination is current, and no, sorry, it's 51. And then engage the autopilot. God, we have 3877 spare delta V. Let's just see what happens. Launch should go quite well. Methinks. Good so far. Do we tip over? No, we do not. Praise be. And then this is a burn of 130 seconds. Seconds to go. 48 seconds to go. Yeah, see, we're not quite at the angle I thought we'd be. We're far enough off, but we might be okay. We'll check it out once we're in the correct orbit. All right, 6 seconds left. Perfect. Our friend the Altair X248 should be just what we need to get into a nice little eccentric orbit with 1.1 million as our apoapsis. You know, I lied because I set the numbers wrong here. We're gonna get into an orbit that has 145 kilometers as our apoapsis. Oh, I'm a dummy. Though it did overshoot by a little bit. But yeah. Whoops. Whoopsies. I did a gooby. Okay, target apoapsis 1100. There we go. That is what we want, right? 1100,000 meters. Yes. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Warp to... So it's basically when the sun is here is when we want to launch. Like right there is our best bet. Alright, fast forward this bad boy. I love Kerbal Space Program. It's just something about rocket launches that never gets tiring to me. Success! Okay, this time it's burning for a little bit longer. Though it's only like 200 delta V different, like I said. So it's basically the same as a circular orbit. We're only getting 200 more delta V out of this stage to get the eccentric part going on. Alright, here we go. This time, hopefully it's a little better. Perfect. So that's done. And then fast forward that. And now we end with a 1146. Okay. That's within tolerance, but the tolerance is not huge, so that's a little scary. Decouple. And now I should be able to warp to apoapsis. Oh, by the way, we're losing power. Why is that? Both of them are broken. Okay, we need to move the decoupler further away. That's annoying. But testing our time to apoapsis here. Testing our circularization. Oh, I needed to fire a little bit ago. And let's see where we end up. Alright, I'm gonna go slow-mo here at the end. We need below 003. I don't know if we're gonna make it. 006. 005. 004. 00315. No! Oh man, this is a very particular contract. Wow. Okay, so what we're gonna do to solve this, step one is, those didn't even get touched. This game is bogus, man. Didn't even touch it, and it broke the solar panels. Man, they're sensitive. I don't know if that breaks it. I'm gonna throw a fit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna reduce the fuel in this stage. We don't need this much delta V, so I'm gonna reduce the delta V that we get from our solid rocket stage, and in doing so, we're gonna use more of the delta V from the lower stages, and then the rocket, the variance in this stage will be smaller, therefore. So like, let's make this only 1197. Still more than enough delta V to get into an inclined orbit, I think. Am I undershooting this? No, this is enough. 9800 is enough to get into a polar orbit. Plus 200 is, I mean, I think I still have like 250 to spare with all of this. So this is fine. So let's try this. And I will do, how many hours do you think we time warped each time? It was kind of late morning, so we probably time warped like, and is it summer? It's summer. So we probably time warped like 10 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours. So like 42,000 seconds. Let's try that. This way we won't have to time warp for the sun to be in a reasonable position. And that's completely wrong. It looks like the sun just set. So let's go 2 or 3 hours less than this, which is gonna be 37,000. Maybe 36,000. We'll just go with the regular 10 hours here. All right. That's perfect. Okay, so that's correct. Early shutoff is 4, unguided 2. Everything else is right. Engage autopilot. This time, hopefully the solar panels don't break. Possible I need to increase the pitch rate to account for the lighter top stage, but the lighter top stage won't change this delta V too much, because our stage 2 is still the same. It's really stage 2 that has way more delta V. Look at that, 5,254 delta V. This stage could go forever. Alright, and it's going to go for 200 seconds. And I'm hoping that by reducing the burn on this, the residuals will be more predictable. I don't know how accurate that is. Like, is putting less fuel in here going to result in more predictable delta V from residuals, or is it actually the same amount of variance no matter how much we start with? I'm not sure which way it goes. We got 20 seconds left here. Okay, and then we also want to check the solar panels. Do they break? The answer is no. They do not. Well, we haven't decoupled yet. I don't know yet. What the? I forgot to put last stage of 2. That's my bad. All right, I'm gonna pause the recording. I'll be back. All right, and we're back this time with the last stage properly plugged in. And let's see what happens. The answer is 145 by, good God, 1197. Seems like the problem's actually worse. I might need to undershoot the apoapsis on purpose. And let's see if these break. Seems like neither one is broken. Yeah. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is we know that MechJeb is underestimating. It's thinking like worst case scenario. And so we probably need to undershoot our actual goal. I guess the other option would be to put a little bit of extra, because I can cut the throttle whenever I want. Now that's a little, it's a little cheaty, it feels like. But it's not cheating. It's just, you know, a little bit of cheating, in the sense that like this is just a science core and just being like finding out exactly, you know, if I was like trying to be historically accurate, I probably wouldn't do it that way. But we totally could just put a little more fuel in here so that we can get enough delta V, and then we cut the throttle when our eccentricity is in the correct number. We can also undershoot a little bit. Let's do a smidge of both. We'll go to 260 vacuum delta V on that. That's a few extra delta V. I'm pretty sure this is correct. I just want to make sure the contract actually completes. And we get enough power from our panels as well. So 2, 4, 2. And we're going to undershoot by 50 kilometers here. And I will go ahead and pause the recording, and I'll come back. All right, here we go. Let's see what this one gets us. For apoapsis. Haha, there we go. Undershoot a little bit, get 1085. Decouple. Power generation is positive. I guess the question is it positive enough to counteract the negative when we're in the dark side? Huh. I'll have to investigate that. Oh, I went too far. Quick. Fire the engines. Alright. Slow-mo, eccentricity. Oh, 3, 7, 6, 5, 4. No. All right. That's just because I timed it too late. So that's on me. In the real launch, we won't do that. So he says. Yeah, there we go. Grasshopper 5 for orbital perturbation science should be good to go. Stable orbit for 60 days. All right, let's just launch it. Let's do it. Mid satellites. Oh, it's too light. We need a little bit more chonk. We're 800 kilograms short. This engine maxes out at 135 seconds, so I can go a little longer. All right, there we go. So tool it, and then launch it, and bop it. Unlock the Altair. And let's do this. Warp to complete. Roll it out. Okay, now time-wise, the sun is straight to the west, so that's actually about the right spot. I might give it one more day and have the sun a little bit more southwest. Let's... So I want my shadow to be slightly northeast. I guess that's the best I can do. Maybe when the sun enters the screen, we'll call it. I'll try this. We'll see if this works. I'm cutting it pretty close, to be honest, with the panels. Probably shouldn't have done it that way. Well, too late now. We're on the launch pad. You can't abort now. I know we could. We totally could. 51. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. What's the worst that can happen? We have to launch again and we lose another 40 days of our career. Won't be the first time it's happened. Alright, 35 seconds left. I should watch this one. I should always watch this one. Okay. Separation is a failure. We just had a straight up ignition failure on dynamic pressure. Oh. Well then. That's totally on me. That's totally on me. Alright, no, I can't revert the flight. I want to range safely. Okay, right. That is the one useful part. Are you gonna let me out? That's the useful part about making sure engine failures are still enabled in simulations. Shoot. Because... well... but this has 123... huh. Am I pitching over too fast? Something's weird. Because this is lighter than the other Grasshopper series, is it not? What's going on here? Because the other Grasshoppers all went fine. We have 113, 31, 41 ASL. This has more Atmo Delta V than the others did. I'm gonna enable part failures. What is going on here? Because none of the other ones failed like this, and if they only had a 30% to fail, I mean, I launched 4 of these. There's no chance that would have worked. Alright, well, let's pay close attention this time. Maybe I'm pitching over too fast. Let's lower that to 0.7. That could be the difference. I don't know. Maybe it's the orbit that we're wanting is different, and that's the problem. Though I seem to remember the other one was like 900 kilometers, wasn't it? Or was it 9 million? Maybe that's what's different. So watch the ignition penalty for Q, and that needs to be reducing by the time we're done burning this first stage. And we could accept some inefficiencies by reducing the booster pitch rate, which should get us a lower Q when we need to ignite the engine. Okay, so it's just now starting to reduce. Ignition penalty is 20% still, 15% still. Yeah, I don't want to take a 15% penalty, and that's after lowering the pitch rate. Let's try 0.6. A less efficient launch profile is fine. We have more than enough Delta V to spare. Really shut off stages 4. I had that wrong. Alright, let's see how it looks this time. This time it pitches over slower, it should get up higher faster. Lose a few Delta V of efficiency, but hopefully lower the static pressure by the time we need to ignite this thing. Ignition penalties down to 20%, down to 10%, down to 6%, 5, 4. So I took a 3% penalty. According to this, I'm still gonna have 2,000 spare Delta V. So why not just... Look, a little bit of inefficiency is fine. Why not just go down to 0.5 here? Maximize our chance of a successful mission. And on this launch, we get hopefully a 0% penalty. And yeah, I think we're gonna get to 0 this time. 5%, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it was 0.5% penalty. I can live with 0.5%. And then the other thing I'm gonna do, because again we have so much extra Delta V here to play with, there's no purpose in me risking the mission for a couple watts. There's no reason to do that. So I'm going to increase the width, or the length. No, the width. So we need to go back up to 254 on that. Wait. That does mean I need to move these. I'm just gonna move them really far out of the way, because if those things broke, I would be so grumpy. And then we need 254 delta V, or 260 even. Okay. All right. Let's save that, and I'm gonna fly by the seat of my pants again. Mass minimum exceeded. What? Okay, there we go. No, I should simulate. I'll be back. I'm gonna simulate a mission. Okay, here we are in our simulation, and we got 1150 this time, which is a bit more than we wanted, but hopefully we'll still work out okay. I'm gonna wait. So let's see, let me remind myself. So I'm facing below the horizon, which means the retrograde will actually add vertical speed. So yeah, we definitely don't want to fire our engine yet. Might even want to give it a little bit longer here. Oh no, I think my angle's getting worse. Is that true? I'm gonna wait till I have like -10 and then fire. Alright, let's see how that does. 0.0053. 004 or 03. 029. 02. 01. I don't think we're gonna make it. Okay. Eccentricity of 003 in this low of an orbit is not easy, is what I'm learning. And yeah, it seems like we added too much vertical speed there. Okay. Well, I'm glad I simulated. I'm gonna make a couple adjustments and try again. Okay, we're back with another attempt. In the last launch, our Altair was fully fueled for some reason, so I reduced that back down. But yeah, our launch angle, I mean, it's really weird. We're ending up with a lot of below the horizon pointing, and I think that's because of the fact that our last stage is unguided. I think that's causing some weirdnesses with like where we're ending up, but I'm gonna go for like 20, maybe 25 negative vertical speed here, and hope that that cancels out a little better so we can get closer to circularizing actually. So let's try that. Negative 25, go. Yeah, I mean, that's, I think I started too early still with the angle that we're at. Let's see how low we can go. This might require a different approach. I'm really trying to fine-tune a hammer here, and I just don't know if that's gonna work. Yeah, now we have too much vertical speed and it's not gonna work. I guess we could do another burn. So what do I need to do? What can I do? So my orbit right now needs... We need to cancel out... So we need to go radial in at some point. Oh, that's going the opposite direction than I thought it was. Oh, but it is reducing our eccentricity. It's perfect. Because right now we're at our apoapsis, and this is pushing us to have a higher vertical speed. 009 is the best I got. Will I give up, or will we continue? The issue is just the variance in this solid stage is killing me. And it is a little weird how bad our angle was from being prograde. I don't totally know what's up with that part. That has to do with these launch numbers. Like, I don't know exactly what. But we're not ending our burn facing prograde and parallel to the planet, which is kind of screwing us up because we have no attitude control. I think the easiest thing to do is just increase the amount of delta V we have in this stage a little bit further. Go to like 290. And yeah, I mean, this Altair is just kind of screwing things up, isn't it? Because it just gives us such an inconsistent orbit. Maybe what I should do, because it's only 1,000 delta V, is something more consistent than an Altair. Maybe I could just use an Aerobie. The classic B. Ignition chance is 98%, so it's like, it's unlikely that it would fail. I only need 1,000 delta V. And then my early shutoff stage can be this one. It'll still be unguided, but at least it'll shut off at the correct delta V amount. And that's the part that's really screwing me up, is getting the wrong delta V from that motor. Now the other option would be, are these smaller? No, residuals are the same for Sergeants. Separation motors have decent residuals too. These kick motors have tiny residuals. Could I get 1,000 delta V from a bunch of these? That's insane, right? Surely that's insane. But is it? Is it though? I mean, that's like 200 delta V right there. I'm thinking of all sorts of crazy things right now. Okay, we're ditching the Altair. That much I do know. Altair is out of here. The question is, what do I replace it with? Do we replace it with 50 Mercury Posigrade kick motors? Because I kind of like the memes of that, but it's also like a terrible idea. But I like the meme. The meme is real. I mean, let's look. Let's just see how many it would take. Just for sake of argument. Just for sake of argument. How many? That's only 3 kilograms, so that's not going to change much. How many of these little doodads would it take? And the answer is, first we need to face them the right direction. Ten of them would give me 342 delta V for that final kick. 16 would be 458 delta V. Is that enough? Do I need more than that? I might need a little more than that. Also, can't I just... I mean, this thing's getting more reliable. I could just go a little longer here and not have a kick stage at all. Maybe that's the play. I mean, I kind of like this idea, but it's not really necessary. I mean, what if we just insert with where's the decoupler doesn't have the offset. That's for interstage, not for this kind. Okay, got it. So give it plenty of space. I mean, that's 9821 right there. That's enough. I'm gonna have to pay for tooling again. I can't believe how much money we're spending on this contract. But yeah, 9900. Oh no, sorry, that's not enough delta V. I lied. With the full burn from that engine, it's very close because our inclination means it's probably going to be closer to like 9,500 total. But then I need another 260, so that's like 9,800 minus the 300. That gets us 10,100. I mean, this is like exactly on the nose, the amount of delta V we need. And I don't love that either. So having a little bit of a kick is not the craziest thing. What is going on here? Trying to undo back to when we had the silly idea. There we go. There we go. Back to Silly Town. I like Silly Town. Let's try it. This is ridiculous. Should I really do this? I mean, look, their variance is tiny. Their ISP variance is tiny. The residuals are tiny. Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? It just doesn't work? That's fine. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh, what's their ignition chance? I guess I didn't check that. If it's not very good, we could get screwed over. Their ignition chance... This is almost a 2-hour episode now. I guess it's 100% because it doesn't show. So, I don't know. Last stage 2, unguided stage 2, early shut off 4, engage autopilot. Go ahead and launch. And this is hilarious and funny. Very interested to see what's going to happen. Okay, that's an engine failure. This is why you don't have engine failures on in simulations. Oh my goodness. What is my MTBF? 1 hour? Yeah. Pretty low chance of failure. You know, 1 out of 30-ish for a 2-minute burn. But sometimes you just get lucky. And our ignition penalty is down to 0 pretty much, I think. Yeah. Okay. So now I've got this nut job that's going to take 350 seconds of burn time. And according to this right here, we do have a spare 350 delta V, so I think I actually could just remove this burn stage. Because I'm sure I would get more than 100 delta V added to this stage, which would then just give me enough. So I think I can just remove this silliness, but I want to test it, see how it actually works, and see how close we get to our desired orbit. So that's why we're doing this. Alright, 30 seconds, 20, 10, go ahead and slow down here. Oh my gosh. Like a bullet. And look at the numbers. It worked. 1060 by 144.9, and I wanted 1050 by 145. That was extremely close to what we wanted. And we can decouple. Solar panels are not broken. And now we can... I think part of it's having a shorter burn too helps. I can warp to Apo here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. How is this happening? How are we facing so far off of parallel? I'm not understanding it, actually. I'm gonna go slow motion for a second so I can have a moment to think. How are we getting so far? I mean, first of all, where's... Oh, I guess we launched from here and then it moved. So we're launching here. And we're raising... It was around here that we raised... I think it's because we went up and we fell back down. It's based on my second stage engine having a low TWR. I'm like 90% sure that's what's going on here. And that's causing us to be at a really weird angle when we finish burning, because we have to burn off of orbital prograde. And so then at apoapsis, we're at negative 20 degrees here. So I'm gonna go to negative 40 or 50 vertical speed this time. Because last time 25 was not enough. So I'm gonna go to 35, or even, I'm gonna go to 40. And we're gonna try negative 40. Go ahead and ignite the engine. And see where this gets us. Yeah, that was still too early. But we might still be able to make it. $15, $14, $13, $12, $11, and nope. Total failure. We're at 2 hours now for this recorded episode. I hope you guys enjoy long episodes. So the solution here is what? I wish I could force a burnout angle. It's because the TWR of stage 2 is so low. That is the problem. We're getting into the correct orbit, but not pointing the correct direction. Can I fix this without using a different engine? Is kind of what I'm wondering right now. Maybe I could... Maybe I could go for a slightly higher orbit. You know what? That might be the solution. Let's try that, actually, without any changes. Because a higher orbit gives me more time to get there, and it means my lower TWR engine is not going to do as much weirdness. And we already have a spare few hundred delta V, so what if I just do 180? Well, first of all, let's see. What's the math for this one? So 2, 4, 2. The math says we've got 1199 to spare. So if I go to like 160, 180, there we go. 200. Okay. So let's try that. I think this is going to be a success. I hadn't thought of this before, but this will allow us to circularize at a much more parallel angle to the planet than what we were doing before. Because the second stage needs more time. And we have spare delta V anyway. So let's see how this works. Ignition penalty was close to 0. Yeah, now hopefully we can not need to get an apoapsis that's above 200 kilometers. We kind of want 200 kilometers to be our maximum apoapsis. And it looks like that's... still might be going a little above that. Closer, at least, than before. Because to compensate for how slow this engine is, it has to overshoot. Basically what it's doing is it's overshooting, and then it keeps thrusting up and to the right as we begin to fall back down towards the planet, but eventually we go fast enough that we're in the perfect orbit. But now we're in the perfect orbit, and I'm facing up and away from the planet, and our periapsis is now right there, so I'm at the wrong angle. I need to be facing parallel with the planet, but I'm facing up. So that's what we've been noticing. Is that happening? Hopefully this is a good counter to the issue. And we still have a spare 300 delta V, so I can go higher if we need to. But yeah, you'll notice now we're falling. Our vertical speed is negative 100, right? And it's going to get canceled out with our kick here at the end, but the problem is my angle isn't correct. Whoa, I didn't really mean to fast forward through that. But it worked. So now you can see we're pretty close to prograde. I don't know, we'll see how it looks at the other end. 30, 20, 10, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Okay, this is a lot better. We're only like 10 degrees off now. Okay, so I have hope now. I'm still gonna go to a vertical speed of negative 30 before I start thrusting. Might even do 35. All right, let's do it. I expect this to go a lot better. And if this doesn't work, we can simulate it again with an even higher orbit. Alright, yeah, we're still a bit off here. How low can we go here? 7, 6, 5, 4. We got to 004. Alright. I'll pause the recording. We'll try again with a higher apoapsis and see if it works. Okay, we're back. Orbit worked fine at 230 kilometers. This time you can see our angle's even better. I'm still going to go to negative 35 vertical speed. And yeah, I think we should be able to get there. $35 and thrust. All right, so we're just keeping a close eye on our eccentricity here. Need it to be 004. What a crazy mission. I did not think it was going to be this hard. But the way that I've decided to do it has made it harder on me. I have no one to blame but myself. 0015. Or no, now it's 009, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, now we need to do slow motion. 44, 40, we need to be under 30 here. And success. Wow. And what's our vertical speed? Slightly positive. Okay, so 230 kilometers for my parry, and then starting my burn at a vertical speed of negative 35 was just about perfect. I could maybe do negative 36. So let's take down that note. The note is... So what? Where is it? We were supposed to do this mission in April of 1960. Oh, that's not happening. Grasshopper 5 here. So we need 230 x 1050. Start burn at negative 36 meters a second. Vert speed. Okay. And then let's just double check the contract is happy. It is. Okay, so let's double check that it actually works. Let's go to map view so as to not blind everybody. And then how do we... What's the button again? Shoot. Tab. Shift tab. There we go. Earth. Okay, now we're gonna time warp for 60 days. And 2 months worth of science has still not happened. Why not? It wasn't running. That'll do it. Okay, let's try again. 2 months. Uh-oh, our electric charge died. Wait, what? Shouldn't we still be pointing towards the sun? No, we're not pointing towards the sun. Well, I could wait a whole year until the sun is pointing in the right direction. Okay, so we are pointing in towards the planet. Need to get the angle right. Okay, so that's about the direction we are pointing. So now I just need to time warp till the sun is in the proper position. It should be any moment now. Yeah, somewhere around here. Should be about good. Yeah, and there comes our charge coming back online. There we go, see? We have hope. No, it's still draining. Probably because the panels are old now. Yeah, the panels are too old. This is interesting. Somehow we've never gotten 2 months worth here. All right, well, I think the design change to make, and then we will finally be good to launch this sucker, is to add a couple more solar panels. And to set the experiment to be running. LOL. I guess that one should be off. But yeah, I'm thinking just a couple more solar panels, so let me make sure we don't remove too much delta V. We're a total of 10,160 and 290 here. So now I'll just add a couple panels that are facing to the side. And I'll make these a little bit smaller. And that should make this thing have power for pretty much the whole year. 10,160. So now I need to add a little bit more juice to this stage. And we need to add a little bit more juice to what, this stage? Perfect. Okay. Let's tool it. Let's launch it. I don't want to think about simulating this again. I know we made changes and I haven't simulated them. I don't care. I do need to make sure the staging's right. Staging's right. All right. Did I already hit launch? I can't remember. Yes, I did. This is the longest episode of the series, and we're just trying to put an orbital perturbation thing into orbit, whatever it's called. I mean, looking back at this point, I just should have done a near-Earth avionics, right? Like, it's so easy. It has RCS. I could just easily get a perfect circular orbit and be done with it. This was stubbornness at its finest. I do need to queue up some more research, by the way. And I think 1960s would be good for us. Ooh, we get some Juno engines. RD-0107? Is that like the 0105, but even better? RD-109. Ooh, 334. Getting some beautiful TWR numbers here. X405H. That could be a great upper stage. Huh. AJ10 upgrade, LR105. Oh, and this gets us the RD-0109, which is supposed to be really good. Is that worse than the 0107 though? I'm curious. We'll compare those. Definitely queuing up that one. And early docking procedures gets us better RCS. But that's a ways away. So I'm not going to work on that just yet. Crew survivability. At some point we'll need that. I guess we'll just get it researched. And then we can queue up improved avionics, because that just makes everything better. And improved solar. Tier 3 battery tanks are going to be great. Alright. Seems good to me. For now. That gets our research all the way into the 1962 range. Alright. Continue on. Warp to complete. Orbital rocketry's done. So now we can do our lunar mission, and mission control's done. So that should mean I can do maneuver nodes now, right? I think that's what that means. Yeah, flight planning available. And now we need to upgrade this thing again. But it costs 100 big smackaroons. Yikes. Alright. And I do still sort of need to launch it at evening times. So right about now should be good. Here we go. Watch the engine just fail on the launch pad or something hilarious. But like after it launches, so it ends up blowing up. Alright, I quick saved. Let's do this. Engage autopilot. 2, 4, 2. Those settings are the same as they were before. These settings are the same as they were before. Launch in 3, 2, 1. Lift off. A couple screenshots here. And hopefully... I've done this mission far more times than I ever wanted to. And I thought it would be easy. Krydax thought it would be easy to be in a .003 eccentricity. And you might be wondering, because I think I already mentioned this episode. The other contracts were .004, and I got them 4 in a row. And that's because they were at 10 million instead of 1 million. Being at a low eccentricity requires a much tighter tolerance when you're closer to the planet rather than further away. And I just think that's the simple explanation. So, and the other way we launched it, I think we were closer to the horizon because we had so much power in our solid boosters. That was part of it too. Don't fail. Okay, it didn't fail yet. Didn't fail yet. So now, as long as our mean time between failures doesn't screw us over, we will most likely have a successful launch. So I'm gonna fast forward this. Uh-oh. Why is it saying 2700? How? This is the wrong ship. Oh my god. What? This is literally not... How did this happen? What happened here? I'm gonna go back to when it was May. How did I end up building the wrong version. Wait, I just loaded a save that was in May and it's in July. This game is really confusing. I'm loading the autosave for Cobalt 3. Because that should be the testing simulation. Shouldn't this be loading up a simulation? Something's not working. I guess those autosaves don't work right. What about these rotate ones? Rotate June of 1960. Maybe that's the one we want. 9th of June, 1960. Let's try that one. These autosave apps are lifesavers. Okay, there we go. So something about this thing is very wrong. Scrap that. Something about it is very wrong. What is going on here? Did we lose all of my modifications? No, it's right here. Maybe I did the default instead of the light satellites. I don't know how that happened. Because I swear I just reverted to VAB. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't know what order I did things. But this is the one with the panels on the side. This is the one I was wanting to try to launch. Goodness. Okay. Yeah, that was weird. Because I thought what we did is I had simulated it, I reverted to VAB, and then I launched. Is that not what I did? I guess not. Something didn't happen, right? Okay, and then we decided to research this one, as well as this one, and this one, and this one. I guess I did that in a different order, but that's fine. All right. Let's try again. This time with more launching the correct vehicle. Oh, man. I love this game, despite these weirdnesses that happen. I love it so much. Oh, we need to roll out. Roll out. Warp to complete. Alright, here we go. Let's go a little later in the day. The sun sets a bit. That should do it. Launch. Please be correct. There we go. Those are the right numbers. That's the right number of boosters. 16. That's what I like to see. I'm curious how I screwed that up. I'm thinking it was saving into the default folder versus the light satellites folder. That's my guess. But I don't remember ever loading it. That's why I'm confused. Like, I never didn't I just take the craft that had just worked, reverted to VAB, added the 2 solar panels, and then I hit launch? I thought that's like the order of operations I did things. But clearly not so much. Or it is possible I found a bug. In this case, I'm going to be pretty quick to assume I actually did make a mistake, but it is possible that the game built the wrong vessel. It didn't build the vessel I was looking at in the VAB. It is possible that happened. but I'm guessing I made a mistake somewhere. It's far more likely. All right. 20 seconds, 10, 3, there we go. We have separation. Now we've got, there we go, not a ton of extra delta V. What a 300-second burn ahead of us. See, and by having a higher apoapsis, it gives us more time to build up all this sideways orbital speed without having to fall back down to the Earth, and that means that we're going to end up pointing in a much better direction. So, 150 left on the timer here. Should probably get a screenshot of the only mission that I've done in this mission, or in this episode. LOL. Alright, just keep time warping. No engine failures, thankfully. Not yet, anyway. Alright. 15 seconds, 5 seconds. Here we go. Moment of truth. Will it all go well? The answer is yes. Yes, it will. And now we've got extra solar panels. So our power should be more than good enough for a full year or two. Our inclination is 51 degrees as expected. Okay. I'm gonna quick save right now. And then we're gonna warp to Apo. And like we said, we're gonna build up some negative speed here. So I'm gonna do negative 36, and then we'll hit the go button. 20, 30, all right. Negative 36, there we go, hit the go button. And then we'll watch our eccentricity up here until it is a very small number. Get a screenshot. Alright, we got 17, 16. I'll go into slow motion here when it gets to like 0.06. Alright, slow motion. $44. 35. And there it is. 26 is fine. 0.0026. Good gracious. This was the mission from hell. Not for any particular reason. I mean, I've already talked about it, but it's just like I chose to do it in a way that just made it harder than it needed to be, but I was so close every time that it felt like all I needed was one small tweak to fix it, but then it didn't, and I just ended up having to do this mission like 40 times, even though nothing about it was really that hard. And if I had just designed a whole new craft to go onto the Grasshopper, stage 1 and 2, that had a near-Earth core, that would have been great. That's all I needed. All right, orbital perturbation is running. And this is running. And let's double check our Kerbalism here on the solar panel average exposure. All right, that should be fine. Okay, switch back to Space Center when I see it pop to 34. So it's slightly better. Goodness. Okay. Whew. Well, we're going to call that an episode. As always, thank you guys for watching. What a crazy time. And as always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think down below. And I'll see you in the next episode of RP1.